Sam,
Yeah.
I have some fucking amazing news for you.
Oh boy, I can't wait.
Dave Chappelle drowned in the Titanic, and I am now the funniest black guy in America.
So sad, yet so
And
such a windfall for you.
I'll admit it. I'll miss him. Great moments, great back catalog.
I like to think that I'm going to remember him as a hero.
Well, obviously, I remember him as a hero because he drowned on the Titanic.
Because he drowned in the Titanic and is now dead.
That's where I'm at. But on the personal front in Weeaboo Hell, we have some amazing news. Sam got to go to Austin.
It was fun. There was a lot of beer.
There was a lot of beer. And evidently, he said everything is really bigger there, like literally.
No, yeah, like portion sizes, absolutely. Parking garages, gigantic, ton of them. It's my knock against the city, in fact. There's just parking garages as far as the eye can fucking see. I don't know where.
Maybe,
I don't know why. I think it's because they don't have a public transit system.
maybe
Everyone drives, so you
people
need all
can
these.
live under the parking garages.
Well, funny you should say that. The Austin's the Texas state capitol has this extension that is all underground.
All underground.
Yeah, they built it in the 90s. I don't really know why.
An undercity is not unheard of in a lot of metropolitan areas. It was sort of a fancy urbanist experiment for a while. I shouldn't say experiment. We keep trying it. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes it doesn't. I certainly imagine... I mean, for the amount of time that a given person spends indoors, it can't be worse than a lot of options. However, it just begs for the worst kind of fucking slumification.
I wonder if they built it because the lawmakers in Texas were worried that the Austin air was going to make them catch socialism. Like, I wouldn't put it past them to think that.
You know, that's crazy because experiments have shown that socialism only travels through fluids, so...
Yeah.
Like,
And
you're
then,
not really
like,
achieving anything.
as long as you're outside, you should be okay.
Yeah, like just...
Or, as long as you're indoors with people who you know aren't socialists. And because you're a Texas lawmaker, you're probably fine, fucker.
Yeah, all you have to do to avoid catching socialism is get a little shot from... You see where I'm going with this. I guess what I'm trying to say is just the words, fuck you people in giant, bold word art letters. But I'm not going to rant about that forever because something also happened on my front, more minor news. I got to do a guest comic series in Power Up Comics, which is fucking great.
Hell yeah.
I fucking love that thing. Like, Unwinder's hilarious. Unwinder's totally unrelated to Shadow and Chug, the true creators of Power Up Comics, of course. And that was right after I did some New Yorker shit, whatever.
What a gay idea.
That fucking comic. But yeah, I was in the New Yorker. I probably should explain for context, Sam has not developed a random homophobic streak. Fucking Power Up Comics is a parody of, like, 2000
through to 2008-ish or so.
Yeah, that whole era of gaming webcomics, your Shredded Moose, Control Delete, Penny Arcade, etc. And
mostly a parody of the first two, I'd say.
Yeah. But just I had to just mention a broad spectrum, and amidst all the rank failures that died as nature demanded, I should mention the good thing that lived.
Like, it is as continuity free as Penny Arcade. It is as, in this case, ironically so, deeply, I guess you could just generally, broadly problematic as Shredded Moose. And it's not unfunny, but, like, on its face it would be, I guess, as Control-Alt-Delete. How do you explain this?
How do I explain this? I mean, it's a simple, the best term I think is just a style parody.
Yeah.
Like, it basically just takes a lot of the stylistic tendencies of those webcomic authors and just does a piss take. It's a great formula for fun.
It reminds me of nothing more than Sweet Bro and Hella Jeff.
Yeah, definitely. Like, basically that wavelength as executed by another person.
It's not as surreal as Sweet Bro and Hella Jeff. It is a little bit more angry.
Yeah, it's a little bit more... The original set of Power Up comic strips are definitely fueled by a how is this shit popular
like, how
kind
is
of
this
feeling.
shit popular? I hate you people so fucking much kind of deal. Yeah.
And then, as the week were called, it took a bit more of a... not surreal, but absurdist tint to it.
Okay.
It enjoys a lot of that.
I haven't read all of it.
It's a good time. It's a good time.
I read like the era where I read the angry era, that early angry era of Power Up Comics, where he
Amazing work.
Again, he could not believe that Tim Buckley got his own fucking convention.
What would have to happen to reproduce the just conditions that summoned a Control-Alt-Delete convention?
I don't know that it could happen again. I think that those days might be over.
What a wild planet.
Yeah.
Anyway, after that, I was in not the Times, not New York Magazine. I was in the New Yorker, and I know it's fun. It's fine. So
That's
this
boring,
week,
though.
this week, I don't know. Do you listen to anyone's podcast? Listen to them jerk off about their accomplishments? I fucking don't. Like, do you really care about anything but what jokes I have and what anime hot takes I had? Like, search in your heart of hearts.
I do wonder how many listeners we lose in those first 5 minutes where we banter about, like, baseball and politics and bullshit like that.
Yeah, like, that's already on one side of the line. If it just becomes, the great thing that happened to me recently was, I think that they will not only quit, but just start sending me some really creative letters in the mail.
It's why I don't listen to My Favorite Murder.
Bang. With that horrible thought hovering over my head, I'm gonna just transition to our fucking review of the week. We read/reread the fucking
Chainsaw Man!
I love it so much. I love it. I want to make something like this before I die in whatever NYPD related incidents puts an end to my life 20 or 30 years early.
I definitely had a high expectations for this thing, right? It had been hyped to me. I was definitely not hype averse to it, though, the way that I sometimes get with stuff. I think it's because, like, the correct people were hyping it to me.
Aw, man. I know that feeling. I had a friend who took the longest time to ever look at any of the sort of Douglas Adams stuff. Because a lot of the sort of Dr. Who-lock type of people were the ones pitching it to him.
The super Who-lock crowd, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's,
it's interesting that people use the acronym Super Who-lock. I feel like Supernatural is a different breed of shittiness.
Yeah, but it's all the same fandom.
Oh, okay.
The Super Who-lock refers mostly to the fandom rather than the, like, genre.
Ah, okay.
But, like, it's like those three shit. I didn't come here to talk shit. I came here to gush.
Oh, man. So, yeah, for the uninitiated in this material, the basics are just that this is going to be... It really scratches the surface what it is, but Chainsaw Man is a supernatural action manga.
Where people don't talk. Well, they do.
They do talk. They talk well. They don't talk endlessly.
People shut the fuck up when it's time to fight. That's the important bit there. It's kind of incredible how that happens, in fact. Because this is published in Shonen Jump.
It is published in Shonen Jump. It is a breath of fresh fucking air. I'm happy it's as popular as it's gotten because it deserves to be. And I guess its name will be blowing up shortly. I don't know if it's premiered yet, but I know it's getting a Mappa anime.
Oh, if it had premiered, we'd be watching it right now.
We'd
be talking about that.
Yeah. This episode will probably be like much later just because we'd be watching it.
Oh. But since we have beaten Mappa since we've beaten them to the premiere, I suppose, I am going to recommend everyone, like, get on fucking board with this. I am fairly certain that this has a very good chance of being big new thing.
I would really love it if it was.
Like, what was the last big new thing? Jujutsu Kaisen, right? Jujutsu Kaisen
that is
was
the
the
newest
last
big new
big
thing.
new thing, proper noun, in anime. And I would have whatever problems I have with Jujutsu Kaisen, Mappa did a very good job animating it, and they're not going to fuck this one up because this one, the nerds fucking love this one, and I'm one of those nerds.
Oh, my mouse tail is firmly caught in this trap.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm still just loving my cheese and saying, bring death. It's fine. I wasn't using that spine. I fucking Chainsaw Man.
I got to have my fucking cheese, man.
So a little bit more about what Chainsaw Man is.
Yeah.
Setting-wise...
Literal
I guess
hell world.
Okay, so spoilers from here on out just because I'm really bad at summarizing things without throwing those out like little candies. I'll try to be conservative, but whatever.
And it is something of a reveal when they reveal the nature of the world. It comes in like about 10 or 11 chapters in, I want to say.
Yeah. So the basics are that it's just about a youth in a almost impossibly but very realistically shitty situation who trips into, in a simultaneously disturbing, tragic, and hilarious manner.
Actually, those 3 words are very good.
Overview of Chainsaw Man.
Overview of Chainsaw Man, yeah.
Trips into a kind of riff on a demon hunting scenario, but you learn more about the nature of the world and the people within it, and the standard sort of conventions and endpoints and motivations of that subgenre don't really apply.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing is kind of a fucking nested trap. But what's important is that it's essentially about a youth whose goals have been reduced to just actually being able to enjoy basic material existence.
He just wants to have a place to sleep and eat, a decent meal and not really have to worry about where his next one's coming from.
Yes.
And also, if he could cop a feel one of these days.
After living in the figurative and literal gutter, he is just trying to enjoy being able to eat consistently, have the chance to touch a butt.
The protagonist's name is Denji, and his particular brand of dumb, broken, horny is... I think everyone can resonate with that just a little bit, no matter who you are. Well,
he is
preferably you're of our age group, I imagine, but...
artfully arranged to be relatable as a protagonist. He's basically a great execution of a thing a lot of things strive for. It's in fact something that Jujutsu Kaisen kind of reaches for and falls into a little bit of a puddle sometimes. Mm-hmm. But just the idea of the simple hero.
Oh, the dumbass hero?
Yes. But not only the dumbass. There's a difference between your dumbass jerk show hero and original Son Goku.
Yeah. Just the dumb, good-natured guy.
Yeah. And this is closer to
who
that.
Just likes his friends.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is closer to that, and I'm actually going to use the original Dragon Ball Son Goku comparison for this one because it's in my head now. And I think what they sort of share is that they're both super relatable in their simplicity and what they enjoy, yet almost feel like aliens because of it at the same time.
Yeah.
But it's managed super well, and I love it. That and strong action composition are 2 of the only comparisons I will use to Dragon Ball in this. Because this is a more...
Yeah, it is not Dragon Ball. It does not feel like Dragon Ball ever.
This is a very different beast.
For better or for worse.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
although mostly better.
This thing is fucking
great.
This
thing whips so goddamn hard. Every time an action sequence happens, I defy you not to have whatever, your favorite, speed metal guitar riff is, just sort of, start auto-playing in your head.
The action in this is so well put together in terms of... It's easy to get caught up in the nutty shit that happens because the nutty shit is awesome.
And the nutty shit is so fucking good, yeah.
But all the simple things of art direction are on point. The way that the fights are paced out are on point. Almost all the violence is also building towards some kind of interior character motion, which is the easiest simple thing to forget, but we fucking forget it.
There's this thing about this show that I don't quite understand, which is a lot of the time... Remember, way back when we were talking about Korra, right?
Yeah.
And I was going on about how the misgivings that I had about the inclusion of mecha into the show, right? Where I kind of have never been a fan of this, who cares if this is kind of stupid, it's awesome kind of idea, right? Which really kind of took hold, I don't know, I want to say at the beginning of this last decade that just ended, right?
Right.
With stuff on the slightly more acceptable end of the spectrum, like Sharknado, but on the other end of the spectrum, Hansel and Gretel witch hunters.
Oh god. The fucking Van Helsing core.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're getting at. I think the difference, maybe not even the difference, it might even just be a thing about approach, but When people say that, it's normally an excuse for things that are neither. It just rings hollow. It's an excuse like, see how it plays out in wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
It's an idea that's achievable. In fact, a comparison I might use to its approach to action at times in its appeal is fucking Hellsing, which is fucking insane. And if you think about having the fights, you might say, wait, what? But it's fucking awesome. It's artfully drawn or directed.
I guess.
They did the work. It's a threshold you can achieve. It has just become an easy semantic dodge for things I haven't achieved either. It would be like saying, who cares if nothing exciting happens in this movie? It's smart. Because there are plenty of smart movies where nothing exciting happens. But if you try to use that fucking excuse to describe... Like, you could say, The Imitation Game. Someone might say, this is a boring slog through someone's asshole. And you would say, actually, it's a bit above your head. It's basically reverse versus that. It's a semantic dodge, as I'm getting at most of the time. But to me, it's not something that cannot be achieved. Though, it's also sort of a problem to try to necessarily apply that to Chainsaw Man, because there is this beating, angry social heart behind everything in this fucking comic.
It's smart in a really, very deeply angry way.
Yeah.
What would you say is sort of at the heart of this thing's central metaphor? Is it a frustration with violence, sort of like in the 21st century as like this just normalized part of everyday life?
I think it comes out as violence because he fucking loves violence. He's also concerned all of things like how poverty and international relations play out, so I think the easy catch-all term for what he's frustrated with is sort of casual dehumanization, like everyone is stuck in these little machines that just
grind them the fuck up.
Yeah, they grind the fuck up to the point where, like, the vision of a romantic hero would look like just someone like Denji who's trying to hold on to like, basic human fucking happiness.
It is depressing how relatable Denji is. Like, he just, at one point, I'm reading this thing on my phone, right? And Denji has this line where he's like, every time I feel bad about things, I just try to stop thinking and just try to think a happy thought or something and ignore all the bad thoughts, and then it's fine. And then I send like a screen cap of this page to Denard, and I say, like, they're doing a gag here, but this is generally how I go about my day.
Generally, there are a lot of great beats in the comic that either comedically or dramatically sort of hit this point. Mm-hmm. And that lends something to Chainsaw Man that I almost don't even want to apply, like worrying about it doesn't matter if it's because it's cool, because there's this whole thing going on behind all that, and that is smart. Though, one can argue, not every scene is necessarily about both, which is true enough. We're sort of taking these works holistically. Yeah. As a whole, whatever. It's funny that we brought up Sharknado, because there was a point where he rides a demon shark by right.
And I'm pretty sure that the name of the chapter is Sharknado.
Fun fact about the creator, by the way. Mm-hmm. He is a huge American film fan. It comes out less in Chainsaw Man than did his previous work, but it's just
there you go.
Whole thing in him. A film head will probably catch more references to it than I would.
Probably.
It is very possible.
I am only slightly more of a film head than you.
It's a thing. I'd say a bit more than that. You got a good head for that shit. The other interesting thing about this creator, and it's very entertaining to me, we've been talking about how different and crazy and over the top Chainsaw Man is.
Yeah.
I read his previous thing, Fire Punch. Mm-hmm. Chainsaw Man is this crazy motherfucker sitting down and saying, okay, I'm going to try to make something normal. This is going to be my pop song.
This is Tub Thumping by Chumbawamba.
Basically, like, you have to understand that the first chapter of Fire Punch establishes that Fire Punch's main character is in this post-apocalyptic cannibal village where the main character has developed he has to keep rejecting incestuous overtures from his sister because he feeds the village by cutting off parts of himself because he has the power to regenerate. This is the first chapter.
I was reading about Fire Punch. It seemed to have a similar, a similar relationship between its hero and its antagonist, from what I could tell.
It did and it didn't.
Well, like they position it like in a somewhat similar way.
It's positioned in a similar way, and another thing is that there's that running theme of fixation. Only I guess it's much more to the antagonist's benefit than in Fire Punch. Spoilers, but
Spoiler.
The guy has great fixations. Probably one of the most just front and center and not clumsy. It's funny, for all the things he did, a smash mouth attitude towards Fire Punch has one of the most prominent sort of transgender characters I've seen in anything. And it's great. I mean, they
like outside of that one particular genre of manga.
Oh yeah, okay. As far as supernatural action nuttery goes, I guess Fire Punch has a unique wavelength for that, which is interesting. And I know I like seeing people represented. I think it's what Dave Chappelle would have wanted before he died on the Titanic.
Poor soul. Oh, the humanity.
I'm gonna get shit for this. My brother listens to this sometimes. Man, I was like poking around Negro Instagram, and I should mention I'm black. For those of you who don't know, I'm not just randomly throwing that word. Whatever. I was going around various interpages, and when that special came out, they were just comments effective. The king is back, baby. And I'm kind of wondering, because Dave Chappelle has quite the back catalog pre-fucking Rowlinging. And I kind of wonder in people's heads how many dogs he would have to fuck on stage to sort of eat through that goodwill. It's an interesting question. It's also a mentality question.
Before he died, I had this idea of The Sellout being like a really good, like, kind of indie comedy movie, and him playing Hominy Jenkins, but unfortunately he's dead now. And cannot do that.
It is unfortunate.
And like the sort of like Jesse Jackson nemesis character, or he's supposed to be like somewhere between Jesse Jackson
Al Sharpton
and Al
Jesse,
Sharpton,
yeah.
And like with a little bit of the filmmaker who puts his name on everything. Like kind of glurgy, Christian-y.
Oh, Tyler Perry.
Tyler Perry, yeah. Yeah, like I figured that's the guy who you get Idris Elba for.
Beautiful.
Like, because, like, yeah, Idris Elba has a place in this movie, and it's not the place you'd expect.
I would enjoy your casting, to
Lakeith
support
Stanfield,
the...
gotta be me. Or me is played by Lakeith Stanfield, right?
To, support victims of the Titanic accident, subscribe to, Extra Evil at seymourevil.com/extraevil. All proceeds will go towards...
the victims of the Titanic.
Yes. Anyway, that being said, totally interesting addition of a sort of trans character there. And again, I'm just fascinated because there aren't a lot of creators I could say that Chainsaw Man is them sort of working in a more popular headspace, because he is like, this is a whole demon hunting thing. In without spoiling too much about the setting, he sort of baits and switches a sort of stereotypical Jujutsu Kaisen each world. It's not that.
Yeah.
But you could come in saying, here's some familiar fresh water. He says, gotcha, bitch! See, that's another thing that motherfucker said before he died on the Titanic. Okay?
One thing that I definitely enjoy about the world of Chainsaw Man is that, you know how, like, in Bleach, how this whole thing is hidden from the whole world?
Uh-huh.
No. No, it's not. What happened is, you know, like, hell is real, right? Mm-hmm. There are devils. They're referred to as devils. And they're here. And one of them kind of showed up once and basically committed a 9/11 times 10. Like...
9/11 times 10 spread around artfully around a few countries.
Yeah.
Just a real party. And I love that about this.
Uh-huh.
I particularly love, and it's always in the back of my mind, I think it doesn't ruin other things for me, but it gives me a free joke.
Yeah.
But I don't get that joke in Chainsaw Man, because in this world, whatever magic force exists, the powers that be, the government looks at it and says, I will take 4. Actually, you know what? Just give me your whole stock. I'm gonna back my car in, and you can just fill the back up with that shit.
I would like it to be mine now, please. I will give you the lives of my citizens.
I will give you all of their money, all of their health, and twice of their happiness.
Everyone who elected me, who I have sworn to protect, you can have them.
I assume it goes out saying that everyone that did not elect me, you may also have. And, you know, honestly, I've already put, like, the hands and toes of subalterns on the table, so, And it not only plays out into the background, which I also appreciate. Like, okay, I like a really well-thought-through second-order consequence. You don't even need to dwell on it. I just sort of like it being there.
Mm-hmm.
And Chainsaw Man has those both built into the background and just the foreground plot. Like, a lot of what... Implicitly, the main villain's plot can only go as far as it does because the Japanese government is like, you keep doing you, babe. You are fucking killing it. Which I enjoy.
Yes. For me, the thing that I found sort of the most resonant was the protagonist Denji. I've already kind of mentioned this a little bit, but I wanted to kind of get into it. Was the protagonist Denji and the he just doesn't want to fucking think about anything because that's hard and it hurts and he doesn't want to do it. He just he literally just wants to have all of these simple things, and it's just not. And apparently that's just a really fucking big ask from the universe.
Yeah, you have to understand, and it's a beautiful thing for this thing's just thematic targets. In a world where comics good and bad, your protagonists want to do things like destroy Super King Devil or become King of the Vikings or become President Ninja.
Yeah.
Our protagonist wants to eat food regularly. Be able to have the opportunity, not the guarantee, the opportunity to touch a butt. To live most of his time outside of the rain.
It'd be cool.
It'd be cool. And to not be murdered. And you have a setting that just says, nah, dog. So I heard what you're saying. What if you had to fight Hell's concept of infinity? Good luck, homie. Give us a high five. You got this. We believe in you. All right.
Yes, and so getting back to what you were talking about, just the way in which the world has been kind of shaped by all this, I kind of love like this sort of just general sense of unease and terror that is present sort of in the world that these characters sort of inhabit. Like it is for different reasons than there is a sense of unease and terror present in the world today, especially the pre-COVID world, right? When like just every couple of days you just had to offer your thoughts and prayers.
Chainsaw Man has the opposite of that thing I hate about almost every fantasy and sci-fi comedy that gets greenlit. Mm-hmm. Just people saying off the newspaper, oh well, looks like there's another dragon attack today. Who really cares? Wank, 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 jizz in own hands, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not an Orville fan. I'm not an Orville fan.
Well, Seth MacFarlane has a beautiful voice. I'll give him that.
Chainsaw Man remembers, you know what's really fucking funny? Earnest human terror. And the civilian reaction of, oh my god, it's happening again. It's fucking great.
I should point to this series and its reaction shots, and they're I'm not gonna say that they're poorly drawn, but they're drawn in this way that is like kind of stiff and like almost like a drawn to be intentionally, unintentionally funny, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I'm thinking of like the scene. I guess I'll obliquely refer to it. The scene in the car.
Yes.
Where a couple of characters, horrified by something, have this what appears to be intentionally extremely stiff expression on their face as they react in horror, like utter fucking horror to something that has just happened. And that is kind of a recurring thing. Now I'm remembering the fucking burger guy's head.
When the mappa of this comes out, because they've shown like competence of comic acuity, we gushed about like the God of High School's opening gag.
Yeah.
When the mappa anime of Chainsaw Man comes out, it's going to be a generation of avatars and reaction images that come from this thing.
Yes. There's just a wealth of expressions. It's a very alive series, I guess you could say.
It is a very, very alive series.
Sort of like, actually, I could kind of compare it to Attack on Titan a little bit. You know how Attack on Titan, like, everyone's got those sunken fucking eyes because of the world they fucking live in?
Yeah. Oh man, Mikasa eyes. I fucking love it.
It's something like that. But, like, he's doing his own thing, but it's the closest thing that I can think of to compare it to.
It's just the way everything feels colored by its events and content is present in Chainsaw Man, and it's good shit. It's good shit.
And I have to tell you that its sense of humor is right the fuck where I am at. Like,
Yeah,
it's right there.
Some people say, all art is informed by its times, and yeah, whatever, but this is very effectively and pleasantly and unmistakably informed by just the time it was created and that feeling of being worn down and shuffling to work and what have you. Like, almost a degree of, like, the fucking, like, movie American Psycho or something. It is that much...
Oh, I mean, this is Burnout Core, certainly.
Burnout Core. Yeah.
This comic gets that. And it expressed... I don't know, it expresses it in an interesting way, given that this is a fighting series about a dude who has a chainsaw for a head and arms and legs also.
Which, now that I think about it, because I'm talking about the strengths of the series, and we talked about the sort of emotional, intellectual heart behind it, which is there and resonant and well done. So I think I have not given enough time to the fact that it kicks fucking ass.
Oh, it's so fucking sick.
It's really fucking cool. Do you like Devil May Cry? It is riding that emotional wavelength the entire time. Like, imagine if fucking Noam Chomsky said this party's getting crazy. That's what Chainsaw Man is like.
I'm imagining like Slavoj just showing up in the middle of the pro. Let's get started. And slams a fucking 40 onto the goddamn ground.
The other trait of Earth fascism is getting its shit kicked in. Revs Chainsaw. Fucking great. By the way this thing sort of treats the guy learning to use his powers, I think he might be... The wavelength of it, I feel like he is a... I don't want to say closet, because I think he refers this kind of shit in fucking Fire Punch. But, like, cape shit head?
Could very well be. I wasn't thinking about that while I was reading it.
This is a strength of it I'm referring
Yeah.
to. Like, it... There's a non-tiresome how-do-I-shot web progression in which... I won't spoil particular spots because I love this fucking comic.
Mm-hmm.
But, like anyone, as Chainsaw Man, he starts out thinking, okay, I have chainsaws on my arms, I guess I'll just work with that. And it goes places.
It does. One thing that I'd like to mention, and I don't know how I can talk about this without sort of spoiling things. So.
Alright, everyone, so, you know what? I'm just gonna say from here on the episode, we're at spoilers depth 2. We're just gonna talk about specific shit now, freely and openly. Yeah.
Alright, so, well, like 3/4 of the way through, having spent all this time thinking like, okay, yeah, the gun devil. Yeah. Big bad guy. That's the thing. That's the problem right there.
Mm-hmm.
That, like, him right there. This guy. And then... No, actually. No, it is, in fact, interests. Very powerful interests that are the problem.
Yep. The point in fucking Chainsaw Man, where after having, like, you're sort of imagining this Ganon on his throne gun devil situation is where this is headed.
Who never actually utters a single line throughout the entire thing.
At all.
Not one.
Then just, haha, the same institutions have been fucking with you your entire life are here,
Correct, like the history of society. Mankind still has not figured out a better system than handing power to power-hungry assholes.
Like, you just have to imagine just the, 7 wealthiest people on the planet looking down and saying, hey, interesting magic system you've gotten there. Shame if it fell into the hand of power-hungry sociopaths.
Yeah, I remember you were saying that this is the punk rock to Helsing's metal, and there is something to be fucking said for that.
Yeah, that would be my one-liner summation for it.
Yeah. Leaders in any sense, in any, like, elected leaders or, you know, people high up in the government or high up in corporations or any sort of, like, people with authority are never portrayed very flatteringly in this thing at all. And you start to wonder if maybe the author doesn't have one or two ideas about the way things have fucking been forever and they still won't fucking change even throughout everything.
I am so impressed. Chainsaw Man basically takes a Mailu and subgenre and almost approach to, like, this whole super fucking natural and action thing, particularly Demon Devil's that had started to feel so tired in my head. I basically thought Demon Slayer was gonna be the last good thing with this thing's keywords that I saw for some time. And Chainsaw Man said, no, strap in, motherfucker.
I love Demon Slayer, and I love Chainsaw Man, and I love how extremely fucking different they are.
Incredibly, yeah.
Like, they could not be more different series, even though they are both, like, of the genre of, you know, supernatural shonen action, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they certainly have very different stories to tell and, you know, places where, you know, their heart is, I guess. They are also both spooky-ass shonen. Which
is true.
I kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit. Has kind of had its day.
Yeah.
And do we credit Attack on Titan with that, too? It was a big fucking deal. And I swear to God, it's not just me being a stan.
So it felt like supernatural action, like, agnostically, whatever took its place. I mean, just spooky ass show. You know what I fucking mean?
Yeah.
That whole axis.
Like, when did it
felt
get
like
spooky?
It felt like it was on a natural decline from its sort of peak revving up from the sort of big three shonen era.
Yeah.
To the present, like something, whatever the next big thing was, which ended up being Attack on Titan. So you couldn't that way credit it. So I'm not saying like, haha, everyone saw Attack on Titan was sweet, and then they would stop doing this shit like it was fucking glam rock and 9 Inch Nails or something. I love you, Trent. But
Love you too. Love you so much, Trent.
But in the sort of timeline, it got the sort of in the Nirvana table flip spot of taking that attention sort of off it.
Yeah.
Which then beats this metaphor to death. I don't even know what to call what Chainsaw Man is here. Is it if it's like fucking? Was there ever a glam rock revival that was fucking awesome?
Yeah, because it is, I guess, spooky. It does have horror influences, certainly. Like all of these things, like Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer and such. All of the, fucking Promised Neverland, the manga.
Oof. I'll put it this way. It'll probably resurge because there are 7 original ideas in the fucking world and we just sort of run in loops. Since stuff feels like it's on the decline, Chainsaw Man feels like the last fucking samurai of...
Yeah, I do wonder when the time comes that spooky shonen becomes kind of played out, as it sort of has had the spotlight for, I don't know, the better part of the last 5 years.
It's a good question. It's a good question. It'll be interesting to see what takes its place, though probably more just AOT clones, whatever. And
like Kaiju number 8 is pretty big these days, right?
Kaiju number 8? I don't know. I think that's more of like a sort of like a sleeper hit kind of thing.
Oh.
Or finding flowers. Actually, I haven't tracked how well it's doing in the community that well, but I haven't heard of it everywhere. I've read it.
Yeah.
It's not a perfect show. It's so fascinating the way I like root for that thing and like when it gets little things better. There are 1 or 2 characters that annoy me. Whatever.
Well, it's like
its own review.
It's like like having an idiot child who's like slowly becoming less so.
I guess I just appreciate that thing has heart. Chainsaw Man also has heart. Just does enough good shit that I don't even really bring it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes hard when it really comes up when you're still working on some other basics, but a little game I wanted to play.
Mm-hmm.
Something I thought would be fun.
Okay.
The way devils work in Chainsaw Man.
Yeah.
Again, we're 2 layers deep into spoiler zone.
Mm-hmm.
Is that devils are supposed to, get stronger with human fear, or as we find out in the most fucking awesome way ever, the fear of devils.
Yes.
So we're thinking, what would be some other powerful devils that might be in this setting? Because, the devil has, the arrow devil, the gun devil, the darkness devil, eternity devil, etc.
I've got, at least 2 devils that I can think of.
Hit me, motherfucker.
Okay, so the first devil is the them devil.
Them devil.
The them devil that gets stronger every time Fox News airs an expose that more or less boils down to they're coming to get you.
That definitely feels like one. I was thinking how there'd be sort of petty devils, like the pop quiz devil.
Sure, the pop quiz devil.
You'd end with things like the fucking neoliberalism devil.
Neoliberalism devil. The Twitter devil would be a very powerful devil.
The Twitter devil. It's sort of phantasmal baby. The sort of cancel culture devil.
Or maybe the cancel culture fiend.
That's a 2%er for those of you who better go back, read Chainsaw Man, and come back to appreciate that joke is piquant.
Piquant, somewhat good. I got nervous.
Question: from the untold hundreds to thousands of years of just people running around in caves, there has to be a rock devil, right? All those generations just being afraid of a rock or a saber-toothed tiger.
Well, rock had to be a pretty popular instrument of murder, probably in fact the most popular for several hundreds of thousands of years running.
It would be hilarious if this thing's parody of the Bishonen man on leg crossed over on his throne is just the rock devil, or the stub in your toe when it gets infected devil.
The tooth infection leads to systemic health failure devil. That was a big one up until about 150 years back. Not even 150 years ago.
Yeah, that's going to be our Thanos. You thought flossing was a waste of your moment. Sorry. You thought
tuberculosis devil.
Tuberculosis. Yes, the TB devil.
The TB, the consumption devil.
The local woman being possessed by the devil. I think, unfortunately, the glass ceiling devil's pretty tough these days.
The satanic ritual abuse devil. Although less powerful these days. Because it was eaten by the QAnon devil.
Again, read Chainsaw Man, return to this beautiful episode.
Who, even in this universe, knowing that I live in this universe and not the universe of Chainsaw Man, I'm still not entirely convinced that the QAnon devil does not in fact exist.
If he is real, I will take on the suicidal job of Devil Hunter.
It'd be a worthy way to die, yeah.
Yeah,
I'd feel good about dying like that.
I'll just take all the shitty organ-eating packs. Future Devil, sign me the fuck up.
I will, do it. Fucking contract me dead. Both arms. Take him.
Take him. I'm gonna be the fucking Black Knight from Monty Python in this bitch.
Oh, you know what kind of adds to this series' atmosphere of everyone is fucking on edge. The thing that we were talking about, right? Everyone being super on edge and really oh god, why do I have to live in this world?
Yeah.
People die a lot. This show is manga is.
It's a show now. You're still accurate.
Yeah, I guess it's a show. Yeah, is not even what I would describe as judicious in how many people it fucking kills pretty regularly.
It's a fucking slaughterhouse out there.
People have been around for a while. People who you think are going to be around for longer.
I really enjoyed that about it, and man, I just remember, these aren't characters I'm talking about here, but super specific spoiler, I guess. We're just going deeper on the spoiler tree of this goes. I fucking love this comic, but when the Gun Devil shows up again and it just has the names,
the list of names. Oh, that was one of the better chapters. Yeah,
that's so artfully done, and I'm just imagining someone on a forum. If you think about it, it's actually anti-gun control because if all these people were armed, they could have fought back against the Gun Devil. An essay by Amadeus Volt 777.
Everyone is capable of working themselves into a shoot, yeah.
It's an impressive fucking skill. You just look at Ric Flair and say, I see a victim there.
Lord.
Alright, so we love you. We love doing the show, but there is a new season of Young Justice.
Oh yeah, we gotta hit that. Yeah, that dropped today.
So I'm jumping right on that shit. Thank you for listening to Weeaboo Hell.
It's Weeaboo Hell.
Fuck 12.
Fuck 12.